All right. Okay, I think we're live. Um, Motivation. When we have it, it is a incredible thing. Motivation, momentum, willpower. It is it's such a like a jolt in momentum and in like alignment. It feels good. It feels really good. Let me put my hold on. I'm gonna put a do not disturb so I don't get notifications. Um, and last week, I ended the week with a lot of like I was feeling good and I was feeling great about my progress I made. And starting this week, I love Mondays. Mondays happen to be one of my favorite days of the week. It's typically a creative day for me. I get to get the juices flowing. I get to be creative in ways that I don't ordinarily get to do like throughout the week before the craziness of the week happens. And today I even got to meet with a group that I mentor who these ladies are amazing. And so it was good. And like so much momentum feeding off of last week. And then I got a couple of like knocks, a couple of things that like knock me down. And it was easy to like that momentum that I was feeling, the willpower, and like it quickly dropped. Have you ever experienced that? That things are going great, and then you get knocked down a little bit, and it just well, it hurts. It hurts. Things like the some of the outcomes that you were expecting did not come that way. And you're like, okay, I'm not going to be affected. I'm not going to allow my whole day, my whole week, especially right now, like it's Monday. I'm not going to allow this whole week to get derailed because of a few gut punches from today. And it's like, what do you do? What do you do when that happens? Especially if it's something that you really want and you have a strong why and you want you want to keep going. You're like, no, I don't want one thing to knock this down. Like, I still want this. And so I want to just share something that I do that really does work for me. Is I do have a Monday like brain dump session of like I after I plan for the week, like I plan on Fridays for like I review it how the week went, and then I'm like, okay, these are the things that I want to get Monday going. These are the main objectives for the week. So I try to get that rhythm of reviewing, plan ahead, and go. But I also have a special like action plan, an action plan for when I don't feel like it, an action plan that is my go to when I need motivation, when I don't have it, when I need an action and my brain's like, I don't know what to do. There's nothing. I'm paralyzed. I'm so overwhelmed. I'm anxious. I don't feel like maybe this isn't right. When all my brain goes crazy. If you've listened to my podcast and if you know me at all, you know that I'm an Enneagram 1. So my inner critic she is real. She always knows what to say. I actually call her Miranda, not to be confused with my friend Miranda. But have you watched The Devil Wears Prada? And Miranda Priestley on there, who you just want, that you strive for her approval, but you never quite get it. That is my inner critic. And so that's why it's really important that I have this decide in advance, my preemptive planning. And this, like, again, it doesn't have to be like, please don't make it 20 steps. Like, make it incredibly small, make it something that you can do right away. And one thing that I do is I have my decide in advance. I do this one thing if I'm not feeling it. If I don't know what to do, if I'm not feeling like doing anything, I want to scrap it all, move to Bali and just call it a day. Or if Miranda is really active and just berating me on all the things I'm doing wrong, I have a decide in advance list. And really it's like two things, and Really, it's one thing. It's like pick one thing that is one is if I'm away from my office, one if I'm, at my office. If I'm away from my office, it's take a picture of something that I can use, that I can tell a story about. So I have, whether I use it or not, doesn't matter. But what can I use? What lesson can I have right now? So I do that for myself. And then if I'm in the office, I will typically, similar, but it's like go through like last week. What is something you learned last week that you can share today? And then share it. Or whether it's with a client, whether it's on social, I'm trying to get better at like sharing with you guys, because I've learned that, well, I relate to stories, and I know that many of you really want to hear like stories. How does it relate? How can we talk about it? How can we, what's in it for you? What's in it for me? How can I turn this into an actionable step? Because there's lessons everywhere. But by having this in advance, I have it written down, and I know that I have it on my phone. I have it in my planner, that if I am feeling stuck, if I'm feeling overwhelmed, if I don't know what to do, I go to my decide in advance list. There are times that I'll add something else to it that is unique to that week, or I'll add something fun like, okay, how can I celebrate today? Whether I have anything to celebrate or not, there's always something to celebrate. How can I celebrate all of the progress from last week? But the idea is get yourself out of that funk, get into action, because the fastest way to get back into momentum, to get some more willpower, to feel aligned and to feel good about where you're going is to do something. And in the moment, if you're trying to figure out what to do, your brain's gonna be like, nah, girl, you don't know what to do. You can just sit here and we're just going to sit here and ruminate. We're going to sit here. We're going to be paralyzed. We are overwhelmed. And when you have your 1 to 2 things that you can do immediately, a lot of my clients, I was like, okay, who is your ride or die that you can text, or your favorite client, or your anything you can. A lot of times I'm like, text me immediately and say the word, paralyze. And then I'm like, okay. So I ask them or I give them a step to do to get them out of it. But you have to shake it up. You have to kickstart, just like the clutch of a car. Sometimes when you start stalling, you gotta throw it into neutral and use your foot to like get the car moving until it starts again. See, what about that for a story for you? I've done that before, multiple times. We can't stay in our stuck, in our overwhelm, in our anxiety. When we do, it just goes further and further and further. We just sink. And all of the progress we've made, all of a sudden, none of that matters to us anymore. All of a sudden, it doesn't matter. That was yesterday, and today I'm a failure. And it's like, no, let's be real here. What you're doing, making these life-changing decisions, creating more fulfillment, more impact, more joy in your life takes work. I am not going to sugarcoat that, because it really does. Our brains do not want that. Our brains want to be safe and comfy in our jammies on Netflix and eating chocolate. Like, that's really what it wants to do. And it wants to be happy doing that. But if I know you at all, I know that that's not feeding that need for more. I know that that's not feeding your soul. That's not feeding that the impact and the fulfillment that you're desiring. But what if having one simple action item on your list? And for me, it's this, because I always have my phone. I can take a picture. I can look at pictures. It's something that I can do quickly. And I put boundaries, because, you start taking pictures, or like, oh, what can I take pictures of? Or, oh, let me just scroll and look at all my pictures. Oh, look at my 2-year-old daughter. Like, she's about to be 14. If I've gone that far, we've got a problem. I am now using that as a numbing technique, not an action item. Know your tendencies. What is something that you know will kickstart? If you have health goals, could you drop down and do 10 push-ups or 4 push-ups? If you have, if you have fitness goals, if you have health goals, can you have carrots already prepared in your fridge, let's say freezer, in your fridge that you can grab as a snack? So that way you're like, okay, I don't know what to eat. I need to munch. There you go. Like you have it prepared. You've decided in advance. So that way your brain's like, oh, I know what to do. Okay. That's all this is. So it doesn't have to be extravagant. It doesn't need to be big. It just needs to be enough to kickstart that, to pop the clutch and start the engine and get you back into what is working. What can I do right now to start taking those steps to get in the life that I want, to have that full weight of joy instead of the weight of the world that is so easy to carry. All right. With that, I would love to hear from you. What is your one action item that you can do, whether you're away or home? What is something that you can decide in advance that this is going to be my go-to? It may take you a couple times to find one that really works, but hey, play with it. Have fun with it. We only have one life. Enjoy it. Enjoy it. Maybe it is doing a happy dance and say, okay, I'm just going to put on my favorite song for 3.5 minutes and I'm just going to be happy. Or if you're walking, you can put it in your ears and do that. Like have something ready that when you are feeling anxious, when you're feeling overwhelmed, when you get a gut punch and you need to recenter and recommit, that's something you can do. All right. With that, friend, choose joy until joy chooses you. I can't wait to talk to you tomorrow. All right. With that, I will talk to you later. Bye for now.